Alright, I think we're live. Check it out. Maybe not. There we go. Yep. We're live. Okay. So today I'm going to keep working on the documentation. So we're still working on Svelte today. Right. Where were we? Let's go open this up. Open up GitHub first, just so it's there. And localhost 173/docs/API. Alright. God. Yep. Okay, so gotta figure out this problem. I was working the other day. And user get token example. Is that right? No. What was I working on? It was update avatar example. There we go. Okay, so what I was working on here is, so updating the avatar is a bit different than the other stuff, because avatar is a multi-part form, because we need to submit a file. User needs to be able to submit an image to update their avatar/profile image. And issue I've been running into is I'm trying to write right down here. I'm trying to add a code into Svelte. So, and I just want this code to display as code. But it does not want to do that because I'm getting issues with certain things that, for example, these curly brackets here, because Svelte sees them as a specific thing. I've been trying to figure that out. I'm still not sure. I gave up and took a break before I finished this. So I'm thinking I need to use this @HTML tag. What I'm thinking is that maybe create a variable with this. So I need a script tag. So we can make this a const, because it's just going to be a string we're going to display. Let's paste, and we're going. Alright, we need to really figure this out. So yeah, it ends right here. Alright. So I think we're gonna have to go through this pretty much line by line to make sure it's all good. It's good. Good. Now these backticks, because I want the backticks in the code, need to escape them. Okay, that seems to work. Now, I was using this stuff, so this is to put this curly bracket in Svelte, but now it's in, I don't think I need that, because it's now in a tag, or in a variable. So I can just remove this. Gotta do that everywhere. Really tedious and annoying. I think I want this right there. Alright, now what I'm gonna do, write this first. So I'm thinking free and code, and we put our at HTML. With Svelte, you got to be careful with this. If you're putting like user input or something, it doesn't sanitize it, so it can be a bit dangerous. But this is just a string that we're creating, so shouldn't have any effect, or shouldn't be an issue for us. The hell that? Oh, yeah, maybe I should name this variable. Let's call it code. So I'm hoping that this works. And then we can delete all of this. Really hope this works. So far, so good. Don't have any errors. Update avatar example. But we're not seeing anything. Did we add it in? Is the question. Probably not. This is on page. Update avatar example. It seems I have. Update avatar example is down here as well. And should be displaying. Let's make sure the other ones are. No, none of them are. Okay, so we've got some bug in here, it seems. Unrecoverable HMR error. Is that on? That loads? No. Okay, so these are displaying, but this breaks it. Okay, user ID is not defined. Yep, that's the same thing that I've been running into. Because it's trying... Yeah. Aha. I need to escape this. I think that'll do it. Let's clear this out. Alright, we're working now. This is screwed up because this is full over here. I know what we can do there. Oh, shit. That's still not gonna... I was thinking if we give this a scroll, then it'll not overlap, but because this is fixed, it's outside of the flow. So I'm going to do a little updating just for this one. So container, what are we looking at? Our H1. So we got a position absolute. So I think for the container is everything in here. So we're not going to position it now. What we're going to do is overflow auto. And then we can get rid of this positioning. See what that looks like. Still okay. It all fits. It's a bit ugly. Let's give a little bit of spacing between everything in the container. Container. Everything. And margin, we'll do 15 pixels top and bottom. And this is still not scrollable. It's just the pages. Let's see. So this is our container. Overflow. Oh, we have to give it a. I've got a height of 100%. What if I do view height instead? Yeah, okay. Can't use percent for some reason, but my H1 is not there. What are you doing, buddy? What are you doing? Overflow. H1. Let's just test this out. Let's give it a height of 100 pixels. Still not there. What's going on with this? So it has a height of 100 with 100 text line. Why is that getting pushed up and out side of it? Does this have something that's so H1? Yeah, if we see the layout, it's got a height. It's not 100 pixels though. Seems like that's not affecting it. What is going on? Let me just want to check another thing. So okay, that shows back up, and okay, so they're switching fine. No problems there. I don't know why it's doing that. Overflow. Why is that overflow? So a container is just it's flex, it's column, justify content space around, 100 view height, overflow auto. Everything is a margin. This has a height of 100 pixels. To make sure. Yeah, that's our title. Why? It shouldn't be pushing it up and out like that. So the H1 is getting pushed up above everything, but it shouldn't. because we got this scroll, it should just be scrollable with the H1 at the top. This is confusing. Doesn't make much sense. What if we close this? Yeah. So it's up there. Is our container getting pushed up above? Let's dock this to the bottom. So now it's not there again. Let's try. But now it is. Let's dock this to the left again. Shrink this nice and small. So getting up there, it's giving it more space. I think it's the way it's wrapping. I think it's wrapping some of this stuff, which is pushing it up for some reason. Alright, let's just, theoretically, let's just try something, see if that's the problem. Let's change, let's just comment this out. This is, I'll just delete this. Delete that for now. See what okay, yeah, the wrapping. So when it wraps, it pushes things up, which is odd. How do we solve that? So first off, I'm going to give... Oh, that should... Let's get push this... So the... So basically this container is getting pushed upwards and being... The top of it is going above the thing. Because we still need the wrap. Alright, let's look this up. CSS, Word, wrap pushes, element up. Push up text and see. Maybe there's a different way to word wrap, because honestly I don't even like how that's working really. This is saying overflow wrap break word. Used for headings. Overflow wrap break word. See, that doesn't wrap it at all. It doesn't actually even work. Allow long words to be able to break and wrap on word wrap break word. Word wrap break word. Right. Yeah, see now it's not wrapping at all. CSS word wrap a code block. How should text wrap in a... So this is just talking about the best way to do it. Yeah, that's UX. Wrap text in a pre... let's try white space pre-wrap. I think that's what we already had. White space pre-wrap. Okay, words are wrapping, but our text is... our div is getting pushed upwards. Which is strange. Man, I just don't know. Where are we? We're not even wrapping anything here. That, I think, is the longest one. And that's not wrapping. It's just pretty certain this isn't going to work, but I'm going to give it a shot. Margin auto. Let's give it something big. Let's go 250 px. Interesting. So it's pushing the contents up, and so the div is fine, but it's pushing the contents up and out of that div. Let's see what happens if we do padding. Yeah, padding is working. Yeah, I'm gonna leave that like that for now. It's not ideal, but it's generally working, so I guess. Sorry, need more coffee. Okay. So, and actually this, before I finish this, I want to put, instead of binary here, image file. So, image file. Alright, I think that's better. Oh, it's wrapping. This is what it's wrapping. The response body is long. This looks all good. Just want to add a semicolon here. Always use semicolons. Where's this? That's good. Okay, I think that's good enough. I'm going to open back up cd code CoSphere API and go to the user route. Okay, so I believe we've got the login. Yep. All right. Login, get user, update avatar, and create. Got all that. Yep. Okay. There's still more here, so I'm using this API. The docs here is sort of a planning thing. So what I'm going to do from now on is create the documentation for stuff, then go and create the actual API in Rust. This is sort of planning. So I think, so we've got user, actually, you know what I wanted to do is we're writing, so for example, the examples are all pretty much the same. The style, and a lot of this is the same, and I'm rewriting this. The problem is that there's a lot of content, so I'd have to pass in a lot of data to this. So yeah, I wanted to create just one component for all of the. Yeah, I think I can do that fine. So let's do. How am I going to do this? Let's save this. Get commit. Create. Avatar update route documentation. Okay, so I think that what I'm going to do is here components. I'm going to create route example.svelte, and so what it's we're gonna have our script, and we're gonna need to take in props. So I think we'll take in, so export left. We're gonna have URL, body, URL request, response. We're also going to need parameters, in case we have that. And code example. I think that's everything. So what these are going to be, so for example, URL. If we're going to show an example URL, then we'll pass in the URL something for the URL. If we don't need to show an example URL, then we'll pass in nothing. We'll just check if it exists. So for this one, the URL there will be this code here on this line. Same thing if there's a request body, we'll check if it exists, then we'll display that. Otherwise, don't display anything. If a response body is passed in, we'll display it. If there's parameters, we'll display that. Like in this case, there's no parameters for the... There is parameters. Yeah, because there's this user ID, so I missed that. Example URL. Did I put that in here? Yeah, parameters. Oh yeah, the example URL covers the parameters. Yeah, so yeah, we don't need the parameters. So it's those four things. Okay. Okay, so we're basically going to be copying a lot of this. Div class equals container. And h1, we need to pass in title as well. The h1 will be our title. And then here, first thing will be the URL. But sometimes we don't need to display the URL, because if it's just a simple, for example, when we're creating a user, it's just cosphere.work/API/user, just a post request. There's no parameters, so we don't need to display the URL. It's not necessary, I would think. All right, so we're gonna do if. Oh my god, I always forget the syntax. Svelte if. Logic if blocks. So Octothorpe if. So we can just do if URL. And it's slash if, right? Yep. Okay. And then do a div. H3 is example URL H3 free code, and then URL code /free. Basically just going to do that same thing for each of them. If requests, and I can't type today. Div 3. This is so request body free and code and request free free. This way we'll just be able to pass in the data to this instead of just creating this file every time. That's what components are for. If response if code, and the last one, if code example div let's call it code example instead of fetch example. It's more generic, but still gets the point across. That's everything. That's all of it. So then we just need the style. And I'm going to copy this by hand instead of copy and pasting it, just because I want to sort of mentally go over this. So we do have our container. And I think this will be the same. Display flex direction column. Why is that? Okay. Justify content space around height 100 view height width 100% overflow auto padding top 100 pixels. Each of these I want to have a minimum of 15 pixels top and bottom margin. So H1 I have a height. We don't need that. Width 100% and text align centered. Actually, I don't even think we need that 100% width because it's no longer positioned. It's now part of the flex box, so it should automatically be the full width. Generally, we'll double check that. So our H3 width 98%, so that matches. Background RGB 35. Top left. And our pre-tag. Background 24, 27, 56. Adding 5 and 15. Font size 14. Line height 26. Our width is 98%, so that gives us just a little bit of space. And then we want to wrap it. Okay. So we've got that. Now let's go to the main page for the docs, and this is where we're gonna have to how do we do this? So right now what we're doing is just bringing in the whole file. So essentially what we want to do okay, I think I've got an idea. So what we want to do instead of this is, I'm actually just going to comment this out. Oh, this is, alright, well, whatever. Just leave it for now. So we are going to pass. All right, let's import this first. Put space here. The hell did we call that file? Route example. Oops. Route example slash components slash route example dot svelte. Okay. So our data is going to be, it's going to be kind of like this, but we're going to put it in JavaScript files. So instead of Svelte files, it'll just be JavaScript that'll just export the data. So for our aside, what we're going to have is it's going to be route example and we'll have we got the props. So URL is equal to, we'll call it example data dot URL. Oops. Need to surround that. And our example data here will be, we'll just pull that in. We'll use like a switch statement, depending on what the current aside is. We'll pull in the example data we need. So URL, oops. First we need title. Title equals example data.title. I want to remove spaces to keep it consistent. Request is example data dot request. Response is example data dot response, and code example will be example data dot code example. Got a typo here, and that should be it. Now, we'll have to, can actually get rid of all of these. Now, I think we're just going to have to straight up import all of the data and then conditionally choose which one is our current aside. Or which one is the, yeah. And when we display it, so we don't need even this current aside variable. Get rid of that in a minute. What we'll do is whatever is passed in as current aside, we'll decide which one we show. Alright, so we've got that. let's create data for one. All right. Yeah, okay. So let's create a new. All right, yes, we want a user. So we'll do, yeah, we might as well create user example first. Actually, I want to start with the update avatar because that has everything. So get it working, and then some of the ones that don't have anything, we'll make sure they're working. All right. So let's pull up the update avatar. Or actually, update avatar.js. I think that'll be fine. Open that. Update avatar example. Okay. So that's our data. So all we're going to do here is module.export equals, and we'll have URL b, and we'll just grab the string. And then our request. Whoops, this is an object. Need to use backticks because it's multi-lined. And we're just doing 2 spaces, so instead of 4, image file. Right? Yep. And then our response be same deal here. URL. Oops. Okay. That. And then our code, which we can easily copy and paste. Code example. We can just grab this. And I think that copied in perfectly. All right, cool. All right, so that should be all of the data for that route. could actually put this all in one file. Yeah, actually, instead of, we'll just rename this to examples, and then we'll export all of it. That'll be just a single import. It'll be a bit of a lengthy file, but it's all got to be imported at the start anyway, so I think that's fine. So this will be, so create one for, this whole file is user examples, so this will be update avatar. That'll actually make it easier to get it as well. And it'll be an object. And this will be a bit of a pain because we need to indent these, but not the others. There. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay, so that's the data for updating the avatar. Now let's go back to our page where we're going to import this. Import example data from user/examples.js. We'll need to rename this. Here, move it to just examples.js. Place the buffer, yes. Okay, so we're importing the file. Now, you don't need this anymore. We're going to need a switch statement. No, we don't need a switch statement because we're doing it in a single file. So current we need our so let current example equal just an empty object for now. So current aside or setting. I mean, we could still use current aside. Let's just leave it as current example. So this current aside, as long as we make sure that this update avatar, this right here, matches, then what we can do is example data, pass it like that, because, but wait, current aside, sorry, my mind is foggy right now for some reason. We just, yeah, event.detail.current aside will be update avatar, a string update avatar. So we pass it into example data at update avatar. So yes, that's right. That is right. I think. We'll see. Example data at. But we're no longer using current aside. Yeah, let's use We actually might still need current aside because we need to check which one it is. I think we can just check on, so if we update this to current example and current example, well, let me change this one first. Current example. Now do example data. Oops. There we go. Now I think this should work because normally I would not compare objects, but in current example, we're going to be storing a reference to this object here. And here we want to compare if the current example is that we're referencing the exact same. Assuming that it's the same, then it should reference the exact same object, which means our references will be the same. So this will work. Normally I don't compare objects like this, but in this case that will work, and it'll save us a variable. So I think that's good. And here, not example data, but current example. Got the title on this. Current example. I don't know why these are different colors. I think it's all done correctly, so I think it's fine. Okay, one thing we forgot. Title. Update avatar. And I think that'll work. Let's see, do we have... Seems to be compiling. So... Just did the update avatar. Okay, we're not getting anything. Let's check our console. We've got 10 million errors. Let's try this again. Reload. Okay, module is not defined. Oops. Reference error, module is not defined at examples.js. Okay, does it not like pulling in just straight JavaScript? Oh. Svelte import JS data. Loading data. Okay. For a page and its containing layout components can be often need to get some data. This is done by defining load functions. Okay. Have a sibling. Exports a load function to the page via the data prop. Okay, so it's odd. I would think you could just import JavaScript. Let me Svelte import JS file. Import JavaScript file in Svelte. You need to import it into the file that uses it. Import helper from ./helper.js. Helper equals new helper. Export. Oh, yeah. I'm using module.exports here. I'm trying to use common.js. I always use common.js. JavaScript export data. Gotta remember how to do it. There's like 10 million Okay, so I can just type export like that, I think. Oops. Leave, just do export. Failed to parse source for import analysis because the context contains invalid JS syntax. Is that invalid? Invalid. Update avatar. Update avatar is our object. Contains a title. URL. Request. Why does that think it's part of? I think it's at export. I don't think it likes that. Yes, this is what I'm looking for. Oh, maybe I need default. I think I might need default. Seems to like that more. Alright. So far, so good. Shrink this a little bit. Undefined. Okay. I mean, there's something at least. Let's try. When we display a side, after we go through this if else, let's just console.log current example. Example. Okay. So that's good. We've got our title, our URL, response request, code example. Oh, wait, did that just work? What? How's it working now? Alright, whatever. But there we go. We're getting everything we want. I fucking hate this text wrapping, but not sure how to do it at the moment. So I'll be good for now. I've got a buddy who does UX UI design, so maybe I'll ask him for some advice on how to wrap that. I need this to stick on the side there, so I'll have to solve that issue. But this is excellent. So now I'm going to do is go to user here and our update avatar example. Go ahead and delete that. Okay. And I'm actually going to save it right there. And then I'll work on basically just copying that data. Create single component for examples. Create file to store example data. And I'm actually gonna stop right there and take a few minutes break, use some water, and yeah, I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, let's get back to it. Yeah, so this is a bit of a boring part. Basically just copying data. So, yeah, gotta do what you gotta do. Uh, so, let's see what we are copying first. Do create user example. I want to keep these in order, so create user is before that. So create user. All right, title. Create user. And this one, we've got a request body. Request is let's copy and paste this. Good. And then the response. Oops. And that's it, I believe. Let's just run this and make sure that create user works. It looks good. It kind of looks good. It's a bit fucked up, but good enough for now. We can fix that style later. It's not closing on my... Oh, no. Hold on, let me... Create user opens and closes. Okay. When we click on one of the ones that's not there yet, we probably get an error that's just screwing it all up, which that'll be resolved shortly. All right, so now we can go to our user, create user example, and delete this. Delete the buffer, yes. And then we will get token example. And let's check where this is. That's after create user. Get token. And title. Get token. Login. This has a request. Just gonna type this out because it's simple. Smith.com. Password. And it has a response. happened to my other closing tag here? Probably used it there. Good. It's good for that. So source routes user get token example delete. And sample. It's not a good way to do that. Create user examples. Get user example. Why did it come up over there? That's annoying. What is going on? Okay. So get user is so create user. That is our second one after the user object. So wait, no, we're not creating user. We're getting get user. That's after the token. Yeah. Okay. Get user. Title. I call it get or retrieve user. Get user. Ooh, we also need no. We don't need to worry about the auth because that's not in the examples. All right. So title get user, and then we have the URL, which is let's type that out. I can't. URL and a response. Okay. Good there. Oops. So this is get user. Let's go and delete that file because we don't need it anymore. Get user example. Just a moment. Okay, sorry about that. My mother couldn't find her phone. Needed me to call it. Alright, so, what the hell did I just do? I believed I deleted the get user.svelte. Good. Get user example. Next, update user example. Alright, that is going to be second to last. So, update user. For title. And there's a URL. Next is request. So, response. That's it for that. Let's delete the file. Update user example. And the user example. Okay, so what are we calling this one? I think it's user object. This is the first one. We'll come back and fix this if that's the wrong thing. So, title, user object, and all this has is so this one's different because it's not any of them. So we'll just add in, we'll have one just called obj. Alright, let's just go with object. And this is pretty much the same. Go. I believe this is the last one. User example. Yes. And so that should be all of them. much we got here? It's only like 100 lines. Excellent. I don't want something that's massively huge, so that's good. Let's just reload this. Let's see if everything's working. User object is not working. Kind of expected. Nothing ever works the first time. CTX1 is undefined. Okay. What I'm going to do is open up this. All right, we should, whenever we open that, we should display the current example. Undefined, undefined. Okie dokie. Let's just double check that these are correct. So console.log event.detail.current aside. Let's reload this. We're all good. If I click this, user example. Okay. That's my problem. User example. User object, but there's no data. Oh, yeah, I forgot to update that. So what am I updating? Sorry, I'm losing my mind here. Components, route example, and I need to add in object and if object. I'm basically just going to do the code with no title. Free code object code free. That should work. We do need to handle this over here. Equals current example dot object. All right, let's try this again. Okay, good. Looks a bit ugly here, but whatever. Ooh, we've got that problem. Let's actually give it a title. Let's give it a title. Excuse me. Sorry, something was scratching my throat. Yeah. Just thing I noticed: rounded corner, not rounded corner, because because of the way we styled it. So we'll just user object. We'll just user. It doesn't work here because this is for all of them. Let's fucking object. There we go. All right. Oh, you little bitch. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this to me? H3. What's? It's not in a dev. That's why. There we go. And we can open and close it. Cool. Come back here, delete the... Well, let's keep printing them for now, just in case we need it. I was just thinking I'd get rid of the console logs, but we'll keep them until we know this all works. Alright, so user object works, create user. Works. Looks good. Hit user. Works and looks good. Update user. Get token. Update avatar. That looks pretty damn good to me. Some style issues, but overall pretty good. Actually, I just thought of something. So this, let's not do height. Let's do max height. I think that might actually fix my issue here. So that still looks good. What about this? Ah, yeah, there we go. Look how easy that was. Oh, but we're not wrapping. We're not wrapping. Oh. Why are we no longer wrapping? I don't want to deal with that right now, to be entirely honest. This is wrapping. Huh? It's the get token that wasn't wrapping. I mean, it's wrapping a little bit. What the hell? I just don't want to deal with that right now, to be honest. But anyway, this actually looks, this is a lot better. We just have to create the data and a lot fewer files here. Just got the route example. Debating whether I should do that with with these. These are a bit more independent. I'm not going to do that right now. I think this is fine as is, and we can come back to deal with it later if I want to. But this, we're going to update this to user examples because we're going to be pulling in eventually we're going to be pulling in other data types and APIs and stuff, so we need user examples there, which user examples. Oh wait. Oh wait. Oh no. You know what? I'll so this will only work with users. If I'm putting them in different files, I gotta import those and then decide. I'll burn that bridge when I come to it. For now, this works. Alright. Save this. Vector samples into a single okie dokie. What's next? Let's work on some more routes. So we can REST API example. Just show me the damn routes. Yeah, whatever. So there's also deleting a user. I don't think. I'm not gonna delete users. If they want to delete their account, though, gotta let them. Yeah. So generally, wouldn't delete users, but I do need to give them an option to delete their account if they want to. So we do need to delete user. All right, so let's go to menu. Putting user in here, but don't really need to. Okay. Svelte. All right. This is another thing that I'm not gonna deal with it now, but I might turn all these into one component as well. But for now, I'm not gonna bother with that. Div ID is delete user. To delete user. This is going to be delete. Yes. Sphere.work/API/user. And then I need to let's go with update user slash less than user underscore ID greater than code break. This will require authorization. Example button. Delete user. So the parameters. property. I always screw that word up when typing it. I can say it. Alright, so again, user ID, type, string, description, unique ID of the user whose data is to be deleted. Next is, so there's no request body. Response from this, not much. Response is, I guess just an empty object. No, we'll do so request body, but just basically success true, an object with success true. Object property is success type. This will actually be Boolean. Description. Always true. Will return. Will return error if unsuccessful. I think that's it. It's pretty, deleting a user is pretty simple route, so all right, we got that. Next, let's create our examples. So this is at the bottom. Delete user. So we do need a title. We delete user. URL we will need, which is going to be copy this right here. So delete work/API/user. Just that. And a response. And response. Success. True. I think that's it. I think that's our route right there. Oh, we need our style for that. Damn it. All right. It might be a good. If we can just import the style, I think that's a good idea. So when we do this, yeah, you just need to import a CSS file, and that should apply it. So import. Um, so we'll keep it in this file. User.css slash CSS. And then user.css. Just paste that in. Right. Let's see how that works. Expected something got delete use. Oh, yeah. Exactly what I did there. Got this comma. Let's try that again. Requests. Forgot to add it in. On this. Import delete user from slash delete user dot svelte. Delete user on display side. All right. Attributes need to be unique. Huh? Delete user dot svelte 9. Attributes need to be unique. What? I'm adding a class. Uh, update user. Did I make a typo here? I did. Got to close this. Good. And I'm actually going to move this break to the next line because that annoys me. Okay, good. Delete user. Why? I mean, it's kind of good, but why is it offset like that? Alright, I'll check it in a minute. There's good example and the example. What? It's the exact same style. Why is it applying differently? We'll check that out. So, if we go here, it's the whole class container. right? Class container does not have the padding, it appears. Yes. That's odd. Everything else seems to be applying, if I'm not mistaken. Because it looks... style looks the same for everything else. So that's the only thing in container. Let's check the H2. Margin 150015. That's good. Our H3. Let's find an H3 here. 350015 and font size 18. Okay, so why is container? Class is container. I see no reason why that would not be applying. Wait. I shouldn't be using these. There we go. Yeah, CSS file. Don't need it. Okay. That's good. God damn it. Okay, so that's good, but there's an issue with this. That's probably just a typo. Wait, how could that be a typo? Are we getting that for these other ones? Yes, we're getting that for everything. Okay. So, how did I not catch that previously? So, samples, no, not that, route example. H3, yep. Padding left, 10 pixels. I think that's what's doing it. I don't think I should have padding there. There's a margin. No, it's not the padding. Padding's good. Why did... Is that a mistake? Or what? Oh... That... Oh, shit. This is applying to that. Oh, no. Oh, no. Let's see. No, I shouldn't be applying. Is that creating global styles? So anything H3 is... Let me try something. I think that's creating global styles. So let's try all p tags have a font size of 5 pixels. Let's see what happens when we do that. Did I do that? All right. All right. What? It's p tag. It's getting overwritten. Say all free that contain code. Yep. So that's making it apply to all of its children as well, which is interesting. But now, no, it's not applying to children because those aren't children. So it's global when you do it that way. Svelte or CSS. One CSS for whole. It's not helping me. Multiple instances of same component. CSS and JS. This is just showing you how to do It's not what I want. I don't think it wants me to do that. And I'm not willing to have. So, excuse me. So what's happening is when we import, what is this import on? User. Sorry, my brain has failed to work. Imported this on delete user. Open it this way. So you've imported the CSS here, and apparently when you import CSS like this, it applies globally. Instead of just being local to this component. So let's try something. So we know this pre-code is applying to this because we got the teeny tiny little unreadable text. So let's try pre. Let's try putting it in a style tag here. Style. And we do pre-code. Font size 5 pixels. Delete it from there. Now, I believe what we're going to see is that that does not apply to it. So if we go to delete user, yep, that's not applying. So importing CSS is global. Svelte, import CSS, import on global CSS. No. Svelte CSS for many components. Yeah, see, I don't think you're supposed to do this. Because if you're doing something like this, then that probably means it should be a component. Which I will probably end up doing. So all these, create user, delete user, all that stuff should probably be components. And now they probably will be eventually, but I'm not doing that right now. So what I'm going to do is just add that back in. And save that. You delete this CSS file. We will, so user CSS. And now our stuff should be good, except delete user.svelte. Does the file exist? Should. It definitely exists. Maybe I've got a typo. No. /delete user. Svelte. This is in user. Delete user.svelte. It definitely exists. What's... Huh? Field. Oh. The CSS is still there, probably. Yeah. Okay, now we should be good. And our example looks good. Okay. Save this. Create documentation for user deletion route. All right. Next, let's do. Okay, so we've got our object. We can create, log in, get a user, update avatar, delete. Next thing, we need to I'm going to need to add route to update the password. So a class sub href. Let's put this up here. Update password. Update password. Let's call it change password. Okay. So in user, update password.svelte. Okay. Give update password classes container. All right. Do change password. Class route. This is okay. So this will be a put. We're going to need to get the user. So sphere.work/API/user/ larger than. So ID larger than, less than, greater than, /password. And a class auth. This will definitely require authorization. /doc/auth. Auth required. Break again. Our example button. Change password. Parameters. unique ID of the user whose password is to be changed. H3. Yes, there is request data. This request data. We're gonna have to add a note up here. We'll do that in a minute. Object property. So we're not only going to check, we're going to make them put in their current password. And we're not only going to check, or we can do it by email. Since we're already going to have a change password through email, and then we don't need this at all. Yeah, I think changing the password, because we're going to need the ability to, for the user to change their password in case they can't log in. They forgot their password. So we can do the changing password the same way here, where we send an email, they verify themselves, and then, yeah, okay. So this whole route is bupkis. Password. Let's go change the menu back. Okay. I'm going to take a pause right here. Need a couple minutes break and use the bathroom and whatnot. So I'll be back in just a little bit. Okay, back to work. Got a little over an hour left. So, thinking that we should almost certainly do. I was just thinking about this while I was taking a little break. We should almost certainly refactor before we go any further, so it's easier. All these things here, um, and just turn it into data. It's gonna be a bit tricky. So basically, this user directory will just contain examples.js and whatever we maybe routes.js, some whatever. And then we create another component. We pass in this data. But let's take a look at some of these. So so we'd need the title. Well, it'd be better to just look at it on this page. We're going to need title, properties. Okay, so yeah. So I'm thinking we can just, for our data, we'll do it similar to last time, except like properties will be an array, an array of objects that will contain the title, the type, and the description. And then same thing, body. Parameters, response. But it'll need the title, the method, the route, whether or not it's auth, bunch of things. So passing in a lot of props, a lot of data, but I think this is the best way to handle it. So let's just give it a shot. So we've got route example. Maybe we just create route.svelte, because this will be used not just for user but for other ones as well. Then all we'll have to do, creating further routes, is just create the data in our two JS files. So or we could create a JS file for each one. And no, I don't like that idea. Okay. Let's create a file. It's not always going to be a route, though. I guess we could still just call it a route. Excuse me. Call it. So it's inside components, inside API docs. So we can call it something. What do we want to call this component? What route? Route.svelte. Alright, now. This. Then we'll open update user.svelte and script object property from, this is going to be in the component, so I can just say dot slash object property. That's Svelte. Import example button from dot slash example button. That's Svelte. So we're gonna have to export let name we want. ID will be our name. Class is still going to be container. This will be our title. Code, class, route. Span class method. Yeah, but some of these are not gonna. It's always gonna have a title. It's always gonna have an ID. So we're gonna have to check if there's a route, because if it's an object, so when like for the first one up here, our user object, there's no route for this. Generally there is, but this is not a route. It's just defining the user object. So if route method, and then this will be method. So much data to pass in. But I still think it'll be better. And this will be route. Break. So name, title, required, method, route, optional. Sample button. Sample is, and this is going to be the same, it'll just be name. Display side. And then, so, what might there be? There might be properties. Hold on just a moment. Be right back. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so properties is one thing that we might have. If we have properties, so properties will be an array. If properties then we loop over, and I need to check out syntax. So for loop, logic, okay, each, solve, okay, each. I'm gonna do each property, properties as property. Properties as. I don't like the way they name that. It's not great. And I assume I got to do the slash each. Yeah. All right. Cool. Then we're going to create a object. So let's get the h3 properties. Then we create object property, and the property equals, it's going to be property dot name, and then the type will be property dot type, and the description will be property dot description. Okay. I'm thinking we can make this really simple because these object properties are all going to be the same. So if we just create like a data here, and then data could have data dot properties. We can just check for each one of those. So here we'll do we'll create another variable, const data types. That if we title our data in a certain way, yep, like that. So we're just going to have a nested for loop instead. I'm going to leave that so we've got some reference. But basically what we're going to do, I forgot to, what I'm going to do is each type data type data as data type, and then what I can do is our h3 will be because data, so data is going to be an object. So but data types equals object dot keys, data. Trying to remember what that method was. And then each data types as data type. This will be data type. So I'll show what I'm. So we're going to have an object which, if there are, so if, for example, if we have properties, then it'll be an object properties. Wait, yeah, that's not. Okay, hold on. I'm confusing myself. Okay, so data is going to be, for each one of them, our data is going to be an object which will contain, for example, properties. Right? So properties will be an array that then contains our yeah, damn it. That will then contain. Why did you do that? Will be an array of objects that have a name, type, and a description. So there might be many properties, there might be one, we can move through this. And then we could have another thing on here. For example, this next one, body. Should I be calling that? Yeah, request body. So this will be request body. And this will be the same thing. It'll be name, type, description. And this will be the title of that section, and then this will have the things in it. And I think that'll work. So this data type is the name for each one. And then we're going to do each again. Data at data type as shit, I'm just gonna call it item. I don't know what the hell else to call it because it'll be different each time. And then we're going to do, so this is our properties. So this is where we create an object property. Property will be our item.name, our type, item.type, and our description will be item.description. That should do it. That should be all the data. Now we just have to. Oops. And then from here, all we have to do is create the data in a JavaScript object. Let's try. Okay. What? Just a moment. Sorry. Uh, what was that? So we got this. All right, let's create some data here. Yes, let's create some data first. So, going to create user routes.js. Let's export default. So, we're going to have, it's going to be inside of user. So now import, it's going to be some really nested shit here. So we're going to import, what the hell are we importing? Going brain dead. Routes from /routes.js. Now, instead of doing this, so routes is going to have to be, routes is going to be an array. Yep. Okay. Simple. D19J. Yeah. So here, again, each routes. Not all routes, but usually they are, so we'll call it that. Each route, damn it. Each, I'll get it eventually. Routes as route. All right. So each route. So for each one, I'm going to do, we did the divider at top, right? I think so. If class equals divider, and then need to import something. The hell did I call it? Route, just route. Route from, now this is going to have to go up /components/ route.svelte. Good. Here we're going to use route. And on, I have a lot of data to pass in here. So, yeah. All right. Let's take a look at our out here. So we're gonna have to pass in a name. Name will be name. Title. Route.title. Method. Route.method. Route be route.route. Let's rename that to URL. And data will be route.data. I think that's correct. Is there anything else? Ooh, auth. We need to got auth. Got a lot of things, I think. I'll put it here. Auth. If auth then a class auth href auth required add in our style. Yoink that. Looks good. Now, we got to create some data. So, routes.js. And over here, we'll just do the first one, which, yeah, of course, it's the user object. So user user object. Okay, so this, we're going to export an array. Oh my god. So the array is obviously going to hold objects. So each of these is a route. So the route so each route has, this is not right. Yeah, that each route has a name. This one, user object. Each route has a title, user object. This one does not have a method, does not have a URL. Just realized I missed something over here. Change that to URL, but didn't change this. Okay. Alright. This one doesn't have a method, doesn't have a URL, no auth. Data does have data. Now, data is further going to be an object where it will have, this one will just have properties. Yeah, it's fine. Which will be an array of objects. This data is really goddamn nested. I'm gonna create some notes up there for this because this is nested and difficult to understand. Okay. So the properties will be for this one. Can you just let me see the page? Show me the old page. Okay, there we go. Alright, properties underscore ID. So properties contain a name, which in this case is ID, type, in this case string, and description, which is going to be unique identifier for the user. Unique identifier for the user. And next, name, email is a string. Description, email address of the user. Email address of the user. First name. First name and last name. Wait, what? Oh. Name. First name. Type. String. Description. Last. first name of the user, and the last name, type, string, description, last name of the user, next, status, name, status, type, string, description, current status of user account, current status of user account, one of single, yeah, active, inactive, and verified. Unverified. Avatar. Type. Description. URL for retrieving the user avatar image. URL for the user avatar image. And default location. Type string, obviously. Description. ID for the default location of the user. Default location of the user. Alright. That should be everything we need for this. So now, I think we're going to lose everything except that. Yeah, naturally, we've got this. Alright, let me see. Route.svelte. That first, or the inner each, so 29 it says. What's our issue here? This says expected closing brackets. Missing some data type as item. Oh, you know what? No, that's all right. That's all right. Item. Oh, I see. Did it again. All right. Let's see what we got now. Expected comma got description. Guessing I forgot a comma here somewhere. Oh, where is it? Where? It doesn't even say where in the code it happened. And I'm right here. Oh, look at that. Look at that. She's working. If we click on this, not working. Okay, let's address that. Okay, not working. So let's take a look. Actually, you know what? So this is our route, and we've got our example button, and example equals name. The name is the same as the ID, so let's check the ID of this. I bet you. Because it's user object. No? Example. So when we display the aside, the on display aside, const.log event.detail.current aside user, yes, that's right, I need to check it. So user examples title user example. Let's change this. Whoa. Now we're not. User example, and then create user. This my mind can't comprehend this at the moment for some reason. All right, so let's go to page.fit. No, wrong one. Okay, so this is passing in. Got the same thing open here. So let's console log event.detail.current aside. So it should be user object, the string. It's not doing anything. Route was created without expected prop auth. What? Yeah, it's optional. So why are we requiring it? URL is fine. If auth. Let's try console.log method. Console.log URL. Console.log auth. They're all undefined. So why is this? Why is only auth causing a problem? They need Svelte optional props. Just give them a default value. Okay. I mean, I could do that, I guess. Export let equals false. Okay. All right. Let's see what's happening here. So let's log our name. And then let's open example button. And when it's clicked, it does a display example. Console.log example. Okay. Why is it doing that now? Yes, that's correct. Click it, user object, okay. Now this, we're forwarding this. So this goes up to our user, because that's where our route is. Aha, aha, on display side. Let's start over, try this again. Look at that, beautiful, beautiful. So that looks all good. Just close, still closes. All right. We'll double check these later to make sure that they all go to the correct thing once I get everything in. All right, let's save this. Refactor routes to a single component. All right. I think I'm going to end it there for today. At least for this stream, because the rest of what I'm going to be doing is basically just copy and pasting this stuff. Just tedious. So I'm just taking the data that I put into components, and I'm just going to put it into into that file. Which one? The routes file. So all this create user, delete user, get token, get user, it's all the data. I'm going to delete those files and put all the data from them in the routes so that it displays like this. And that way we cut out a lot of stuff that we just don't need. And I think it'll be better. All right. So that's going to be it. I'll be on CoSphere working, cosphere.work. This afternoon I'll be working. So if you'd like to join me there, you can. But that's it from me. So I will see you later.